Hey everyone, we're here at Tokyo Indie Game Summit, and I met this amazing developer called Silver. He's the developer of the game Identifile, which is also a UI-based game, for as far as I could tell. And I was like, hey, I'm making a UI-based game about like Windows games. He's making one as well. I want to kind of talk a bit more to you and kind of learn about what you're making. So can you give me a quick introduction of who are you and like what's Identifile and what's your studio basically?
So my name is Silver. I am currently making this game called Identifile. Actually, the game has already been launched into early access, so you can check it out on Steam. So we are doing also a Windows theme, so our game is like a dungeon crawler roguelike, where the folders are your dungeon rooms. So you can actually dive into these folders, and enemies as viruses will appear. So my studio is based in Singapore. So we are actually just a team of two people. So I'm one of the co-founder, and my co-developer is not here with me today. But so it's just mainly just the two of us. I handle most of the game design, the art, and I do most of the balancing, level design. So more of the creative stuff, the creative director of our two people.
What made you decide to make this game? Kind of, what was like? How do you get that original idea of? Yeah, I'm gonna make a dungeon crawler, but instead of like generic fantasy or whatever, actually let's make it Windows XP based. Like, what brings you to that idea?
So this game actually started off as a game jam. So it's not really like, we started to think about Steam first. So it's just a local game jam that we did, which had the theme of Into the Unknown. We wanted to make a game that's based off crawling into the unknowns of your computer. But that's like a little bit creepy, and we wanted to do that. And we also chose the Godot engine. And back then we didn't use Godot at all, and so the theme was Into the Unknown. So we wanted to also try out a new game engine. So we are using Godot. So how the game idea came about was there is this popular itch.io game called Lose 95. It was a Ludum Dare game. So in that game, it's also similar where you dive into like folders. You dive into folders to clear out junks, and while you're crawling through those folders, there are some like bullet hell elements, but it's like not very intense. So I wanted to do something similar, but more on the modern like roguelike kind of genre, where we'll have viruses as the enemies, and we'll do like some bullet hell patterns as well. So this is like our take on this like virus theme.
So you did that game jam. So I guess that was kind of your first validation. Did people like the game jam, or was it kind of you didn't really get that much feedback? How did you know? Okay, we made this game as a game jam. Let's continue working on it. Did you have any like evidence that it was going to be worth it to develop further on it, or was it just that I want to make this game? Fuck it, let's ball.
Okay, so first of all, we got first place in the game jam.
Okay,
And after that, I also posted some work in progress during the game jam, and each post got more than 100k views.
Okay, that's very
on
solid.
Twitter. So I think I made 4 posts, and on average they made about 150k views. I also made a post on Reddit to ask them, would you play a roguelike like this? And if I'm not wrong, back then it hit like top 15 of all time, that post. So that was like 200k views.
Okay, very solid.
But it was a bit of a 50-50, 50% upvotes, but you still take the views. So we kind of can see the validation there, and I think.
So when was this game jam? How long ago have you been started development on this game basically?
Okay, so this game we started it in May of 2024.
Okay.
So in May 2024, we first did the game jam. It lasted about 1 week, and back then I was still a university student, so I'm still quite young. So back then I was doing internship as well, so I had to work on this part time. So it has been in development for about a year and a half. Before we finally released it into early access in November of 2024. 2025. 2025.
So you had some good traction on itch.io then immediately. Did you already have like a Steam page, or was it kind of like lost wishlist, so to say? How was that marketing for this game then? Okay, we get those first few posts, people are interested in it. Do you scramble to make the Steam page and capitalize on that? Is it kind of more of a slow burn of like it just slowly builds up over time, your wish list, or were there very clear like spikes of, for example, that Reddit post was 1,000 wish lists, we got covered by a content creator, 2,000 wish lists, or how does the marketing for this game look, or did it look?
I would say it's a mix of both. So I wasn't really that knowledgeable in like the marketing stuff. And as you know, this is my first game.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched Chris Zukowski at all when I was posting like the Reddit posts and stuff. So I did the Steam page just as I posted the Reddit post. We got about 700 wish lists on the first day. So it's all from the Reddit and Twitter. Actually, our HRIO barely got any traction.
Okay,
so our HRIO didn't have any traction. I would say for the first 2,000 wish lists, there were spikes. So it's like first 700, 800, and then it just plateaued.
Yeah.
It plateaued until we launched our demo. We launched our demo for Gamescom Asia in 2024.
Yeah.
So that brought us about up to 2,200 wish lists. So before the demo was out, it was just plateau. No one gives a shit. They want to see a demo, and so after the demo has been launched, and then after a while it plateaued again.
Yeah.
So it plateaued until Summer Game Fest. So Summer Game Fest in May of 2025. We have one for the Southeast Asians.
Yeah.
So my game had a feature for like a 30-second trailer.
Okay, yeah.
And that 30-second trailer got me about 4,000.
Okay. Did you have to pay for that one, or
No,
you got included for free?
It was completely free.
Oh, that's very solid.
And that was like the first time they're doing this as well. So I guess I was really lucky, So that brought me up to 4,000, and we also started to run like a Reddit ad campaign.
Yeah.
So we only had a budget of like 1K, and we actually managed to get another 1,000 wish lists. So the cost to wish list ratio is pretty good.
Yeah, less than $1 basically.
It's pretty good. And it was a slow burn. You slowly getting wish lists, and we finally hit popular upcoming in around 5.3k for popular upcoming. I guess it's just steady growth from there. We're just participating in some Steam events.
Yeah.
Some of them they reach out to us like a Convergence game showcase.
Okay.
So they reached out to us and asked us if they could feature us.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go with them, and that was like also at the same timing as Tokyo Game Show 2025. We are not sure how much the showcase has did for us along with Tokyo Game Show, because they did happen at the same time, but it did go up again.
Yeah.
So it is a slow climb until 10,000.
Yeah, then it goes very fast suddenly,
Yeah, so at the moment you're in popular upcoming, your wish list will be definitely much higher.
Yeah.
Like the steady growth is much higher.
Like once you're a certain level of successful, it's kind of easier to keep being successful.
Correct.
Almost.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing you mentioned of like, you said like, oh, I think I just got lucky with the showcase. How much do you think it's like luck versus your game just had appeal? Because that's something I want to dive into as well. Of like, I felt like that same thing of like, we're very lucky with like MMO98, and like people really like it. So it's not like you have a bad game. People still like the game. So how much is like luck? How much is just that part of making a good game? And then how much may also be, I want to know your opinion on that, on the window styling for games, because that's something that seems to be more and more occurring lately for certain games, and it seems to be very much nostalgia bait. Was that something you also kind of expected, of like, hey, people will like this, or that was surprising?
So first I'll answer the
I had a lot of questions there, I'm sorry.
So whether it's luck or appeal, I think it's definitely a mix of both.
Yeah.
If you know, like the Southeast Asian showcase didn't happen at that time, we are just not lucky then. We won't have any avenue to to really showcase our game there. But there is the appeal of like desktop theme games. I mean, I didn't really plan. I didn't even know like it was like a desktop meta thing. So it's kind of accidental.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Nostalgia bait?
Not really. I chose Windows XP because it's like something that I relate to very well. Because I'm young, and Windows XP is like something that I most relate to, and I started using the internet using Windows XP. I think when I released my game, there was another game called Desktop Survivors 98. So back then I was devastated. I was like, wow, why is this game releasing much earlier than me when I already have been developing the game? But they were quite nice. We did a bundle together.
Yeah, that's the best solution. If there's a similar game, you just bundle and
Yeah, yes.
you both win.
Yeah, we both win. Most of my sales also came from another game called Window Q. They have been out for quite a while. So yeah, if you have a game out, make sure you bundle with people.
That is like similar, yeah.
People of similar target audience will definitely buy your game.
So you got into popular upcoming. That's good. But then you did your early access launch. And I think that's kind of something that I was kind of surprised by for this game, of doing early access. Because generally you feel like it's kind of like Kickstarter, where people have been burned so many times on like Kickstarters or early access projects that like promise the world, and then the developers just disappear. So it's kind of like a stigma around it. What made you decide of like, actually I do think early access is the right move for this game? Was it simply I need money now, or was it also like I want to work with the community? What was the mindset behind that?
First of all, we wanted to do early access we need the feedback.
Yeah.
It's a completely new kind of game, and we as the developers, we are only 2 people, and we play our game. We don't play our game as much as we develop it.
Yeah.
So we need like real player feedback, and we see what the players want. And from so far, they have given quite a bit of good feedback, and realized that we actually need to scope much more now.
Yeah.
But when the game was released, it was about 80% complete. So 80% complete.
Yeah.
So there weren't like many negative reviews. Like they say this game is as good as complete, but they're actually still doing more stuff. And for us, there wasn't like any bad thing. It's just that we are foregoing the new and trending.
Yeah.
So our release launch didn't do as well as if it could have been like version 1.0. So I would think so far I'm pretty happy with our numbers and the feedback that we got.
Do you think you regret like doing the early access? You think it was the right move in this case, or you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done early access? Like looking back now, just to get in that new and trending, to get into popular upcoming.
For me, it's like a half and half. Yeah, there are like times where I sleep and I think about what if I release the game in 1.0? Could I have made like much more sales? But at the end of the day, you want to make a good game. So I think the early access really did help us get a lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
And I can't say whether it will be better or not, because we haven't done the 1.0 yet. So I don't have like much expectations. For me, I'll make my game good and release it, and that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you see it more and more now, where you have also developers who kind of, because of that early access, just release the game in like 1.0 and then keep developing. Was that something you considered as well, or no? When did you have that idea of, okay, we need to do early access? Was it like right before you kind of launched it, or was it something you knew like months in advance already?
It was something months in advance.
Yeah.
So we actually had like some publisher talks. Some of the publishers wanted us to do early access as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we locked in that, okay, we're gonna do early access. Initially it wasn't planned to be like 4 stages or 4 bosses.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like 3 stages and 3 bosses, but then we felt like that's way too early to release for early access. So we try to push a bit more. So we have had about 80 to 85% of the game now.
That's the current game. I don't know when the early access is going to end. Do you have an idea of that? Like, when is the V1 release going to be?
When we are happy with the state, but
Okay.
Ideally by the end of the year.
Okay, by the end of the year. Because that's a funny, interesting one then, and maybe also something I want to get your thoughts on. Okay, we have one game in early access that we're actively working on, but you also recently announced your second game, Growing a Manhole? Game about growing a manhole? No.
It's called Growing My Manhole.
Growing My Manhole. I'm sorry, yes, the one.
It's a funny title.
What made you decide, okay, I have this new shiny project, I know I still have to kind of finish Identifile, but I also kind of want to move on to the next game? Is it something that you also get like backlash on, of like people being like, hey, you're moving on to the next game?
No,
Not at all?
Not at all. I mean, I haven't really officially announced it yet.
Okay.
It's more of it's just of a side thing. So I'm actually doing this Identifile part-time and working on my second project.
Yeah.
also part-time. Well, my co-developer is actually working full-time now because we are on just actual full-time. Yeah, so it's hard for us to... It's kind of not fair that I work on this full-time and he does it part-time. So we had like some discussion that, okay, maybe we'll shift this to a part-time development. And then in my other full-time, I'll be working on a second game.
Can you give me a pitch of the second game? Growing My Manhole? What's the kind of game that you're making?
So you consume the universe and you start from a manhole to a black hole. So it's just a short incremental game.
So I legally have to ask you this question. Were you inspired by a game about feeding a black hole for this?
Yes, I am. I am inspired by that game.
Okay.
Initially, it wasn't supposed to be that. But yes, the theme... So the theme of this game initially was supposed to be a Roomba bot. And it's like cleaning up stuff. I didn't have the appeal that I'm looking for. Then I thought of a funny name, Growing My Manhole. I was like, the name is funny. It's probably... And it's proven. My click-through rate is super high, by the way. My click-through rate is super high. It's just the title is funny. Okay, the game looks kind of generic, but when you play it, people actually really love it. Currently, I only launched the itch.io page like, I think 3 or 4 days ago. We are currently in the top of itch.io for incrementals. So the game is fun, but maybe the visuals are not for you. But
what do you think of, like, because that's kind of a thing that the developer of that game also spoke out on, of like, hey, everyone's copying my game now. Because I think, and it's not just the game about feeding a black hole, but like Nodebuster likes in general, where there seems like everyone and their mom is making one now. Like, also you saw this on the Steam Next Fest that just happened. What made you like look at that and then still be like, nah, I'm gonna make this still. I think I can make it special. I'm built different. Because on the other hand, I feel like we may be entering that period now of like Vampire Survivors had this as well, where people started making it kind of too late. And then they released a Vampire Survivors game in like end of 2025 and nobody really cared about it anymore. You're looking at releasing Q3 2026, which is also still quite far from now. You feel confident, like, I can make this work, or what's kind of the thoughts there?
Actually, this game is just supposed to be a small fun project. Whether it does commercially well or not, I'm not too concerned about it.
Okay.
But as you said, it is quite oversaturated. From my experience, yes, it is quite saturated. But a personal player, like personal experience, I play Nodebuster likes and I don't play idle games. So I feel like players like me will buy Nodebuster likes
regardless
and
what
finish,
the people say.
Like, you'll finish a Nodebuster like, get 100% achievement and never open the game ever again. It's like how horror game works. So you just buy a game, finish it, and just leave it lying in your library. So I feel like Nodebuster Lights is similar to horror games. So you just buy a new game, finish it, and okay, next one. Buy a new game, finish it, next one. I think it's harder to stand out. You need to really make something unique about the game. I mean, I don't think my game is that unique, but
it's development. It's gonna maybe find something more unique still over time. Like, you start with your base and
most importantly is it's a very short death cycle. It does lower your risk. I think if you want to come into Nodebuster likes, you really need to get some visual appeal to it as well. I did some posts on Reddit. There's a bit of backlash, but I'm okay with it. I know the subreddit.
they hate everything Nodebuster like.
They hate everything Nodebuster likes. But
you think it may also be just that it's like that subreddit is just very vocal about like the people who like the more idle games, or like the larger scope ones, where like you say, like with horror, people will still keep playing it, like the ones who actually buy it, and it's kind of like blown out of proportion.
I guess I'm not too concerned about that. I will find my target audience somehow. I don't really know how to answer that question. But
no worries. I guess my final question for you then, if you could go back to like Identifile and like the whole development, what's kind of like your biggest regrets, or like maybe even the studio? It doesn't have to be the game itself. What's like the biggest thing that if you could like go back to day one, you would be like, I want to do this thing differently?
Okay, so most of our time sink was in the setup of the Identifile, so like the systems and stuff. Because we are quite new in Godot engine. We spent like 2 or 3 months just refactoring. So we wish we pick a different engine so we didn't waste like so much time.
You think Godot was not the right move?
I think in the end, yes, it's worth it. And now I'm like quite comfortable with Godot. But we lost 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, there was like a high initial cost basically to shift to the engine in the first place.
But Slay the Spire 2 also moved to Godot.
Yeah, but Slay the Spire 2 has fuck you money, so they can they can
That's
do whatever
true,
they
that's
want.
True, that's true.
But yeah, it's indeed, we got that sentiment as well when like Unity did like runtime fee of like, you guys should just switch to Unity, to Godot, and it's like, yeah, but we'll lose 3 or 4 months of progress. So you did make that jump, and I guess at this point, like, you know, your future games will all be.
I mean, it
Godot.
wasn't an intentional jump, you know. It was, we came in with Godot
As
as,
the hobby
as a
project.
game jam, you know,
Yeah.
and it just happened, and we were doing it like part time.
Yeah.
So actually, 2 to 3 months is actually more than that, part time wise. So you get why I'm like kind of regretting it.
It took a while.
Yeah, and I'm more of a gameplay programmer. I if I don't see the results on the screen, I get very frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to put in the art first, and then I do my polish.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you very much for all of the information I wanted to do the interview. So yeah, Identifile is out already. Growing My Manhole is coming out at a later point. I guess you're gonna do like Steam Next Fest and all of those things for that game as well.
The next Steam Next Fest.
The one in June?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!